car prices have been getting insane, and now it's getting to the point where used cars are selling for more than new cars, and new cars are selling at above their sticker price. What's up everybody, I am Jaspreet Singh from theminoritymindset.com, where money minds rethink rich. The car market has been absolutely crazy. If you want to go out and buy a new car, it's not so easy anymore because there's a shortage of chips, which makes it harder for car companies to build new cars, and this has turned a lot of people to used cars, and now there's a limited inventory of used cars out there, and so now it's getting harder and harder for people to buy cars because car prices keep going up. Car and Driver did a report, and they showed in the report that now Toyota RAV4s, the hybrid version, and Corvette Stingrays are selling for more money used than they are new. If you really want a Corvette but you can't get a hold of a brand new Corvette, well then you gotta go and get a used Corvette. And if there's not that many used Corvettes out there, you're gonna have to fight the other buyers through paying more money for a used Corvette, and that might mean you have to pay more for a used Corvette than a new Corvette. And if you want to buy a new car, well now you have your own dilemma because manufacturers have a chip shortage, so there's a shortage of cars out there. So now if you want to go out and buy a new car, you might have to pay more than the MSRP. The senior manager of insights at Edmunds.com says that, quote, every single unit sold is selling for a price you have never seen before. It is a, quote, paradigm shift in car shopping because there's so few new vehicles for sale that people are willing to pay more. And that's the amazing part. Back in the day, people would balk at the price. They would say, I'm not paying the MSRP. Now they say, I'll be willing to pay MSRP or even an extra $3,000, $5,000, or $7,000 because if you're not willing to pay, the guy right behind you is. When you mix these three things together, you create the perfect storm in the car market, and this is what we're seeing happen right now. You have car companies that are unable to build new cars, you have a limited supply of used cars, and then you have a lot of people that want to buy cars with the cash to do it. So let's talk about what's going on with the perfect storm in the car market. But before we get into that, I need you to do me a quick favor and smash that thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already, be sure to join our free Discord server called the Guac Talk Community, because as we all know, extra guac is truly a symbol of extra wealth. And in this community, you can chat about all things minority mindset. You can chat about the stock market, the real estate market, the cryptocurrency market, and all things building wealth. This community is completely free, so if you want to join our free Discord server and chat with and network with other minority mindset thinkers, I'll put the link to how you can do that in the description below. The reason car prices are growing so fast is because we have a supply issue and we have a demand issue. We have a supply issue because of the chip shortage and because of the limited supply of used cars, and then we have a demand issue because although car prices are going up, everybody wants to buy a new car and they have the cash to do that. The reason we're seeing a chip shortage is because you have these microchips that were created in factories in Asia, and then when the pandemic hit, every factory shut down because nobody thought that people would be buying things. But then something strange happened. The pandemic hit, everybody was sitting at home, and then they started playing video games. So then people went out and they started buying the brand new PS4s or the PS5s, and they started buying more Xboxes. And then all these chips started to be used up. Then when you have companies like Ford, GM, Chrysler that want to buy these microchips, they have to place these orders in advance with the manufacturers, and they kind of have to predict what the demand for cars would be. And back when the pandemic hit, nobody thought that people would be buying cars, so they really lowered their orders of microchips, and so then they stopped getting microchips. Then after that, because you had the pandemic going on, you had major ports in China and Asia shut down, so this created bottlenecks in the supply chain industry because now you couldn't get things out of China into the United States, and this created a big problem. When all of a sudden the demand for video games and cars skyrocketed, that's when businesses started scrambling and placing brand new orders for new microchips. But these manufacturing plants were just shut down, so now all of a sudden they got swamped with a whole bunch of orders that they have to start making, and it takes months to make these chips, and now they're overloaded because everybody wants more chips, and even if they start making chips, they can't send them out because you have these bottlenecks in ports in Asia, so it's taking longer to send things out to the United States, and now you create a supply chain disaster, which means companies can't get a hold of chips, and now car companies can't build cars as fast as they would like. Business Insider put out an article recently, and they said that used car prices now are selling for about 40% more than they were just over a year ago. Now at this point you might be thinking, holy cow, if prices of cars are 40% more now than just a little while ago, why don't people just wait to buy a new car and wait for this whole shortage to play out? Well, this goes to the fact that people have cash in their pockets and they're willing to spend money on a new car because they can. Between 2020 and 2021, not only did we have a lot of supply chain issues get created, but we also had a lot of money get injected into our economy. The United States government and the Federal Reserve Bank printed trillions of dollars and they injected this free money into the economy, and now this money ended up in the hands of businesses and people. And so people all of a sudden had more cash than ever in their pockets, because not only did you not have a lot of expenses between 2020 and 2021 because you were locked up in your home, but you were also getting free money from the government. And so people are looking at the price tags of cars and they're saying, oh yeah, that's kind of expensive, but I got some extra cash in my pocket, and if I don't buy it, then everybody else is gonna buy it, and I don't want to be the person that's not buying a new car because everybody else is buying a new car, so yeah, I'll pay the premium. This is great news if you have a car that you're selling, or if you're a car dealership and you're selling cars, because now you can make fat margins on the cars that you're selling. But it's not so good news if you want to buy a car and assuming you want to get a deal on a car. If you're in the market for a car right now, it's not going to be easy for you to come buy a deal, just because there's such a low supply of cars out there and you have so many people that are willing to pay extra money to buy a car. So if you're thinking about buying a car, you have a couple options. Option one is you can wait it out, and option two is get financially educated. That way you can pay whatever price it is. Eventually this chip shortage is going to go away, and car manufacturers will be able to build more cars, and then you'll be able to go into the car dealership and you'll see a whole bunch of cars available for sale, and you're not going to have to go into a bidding war to buy a car. How long is this chip shortage going to last? Well, if you ask chip makers like Intel, they say it's going to go at least until 2022 and probably into 2023. This whole chip shortage has pushed Intel to actually invest $20 billion to open new chip manufacturing facilities in Arizona. That way we don't have to rely on building all these chips overseas. So if you're trying to buy a car and you want to get a good deal on it, either you're going to have to spend a lot of time searching, or you're probably going to have to wait. The second thing I want to talk about, since we are a personal finance channel, which if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure you do that. But the thing that I want to talk about is being smart with your money today. That way you can pay whatever price you want and be able to afford it, because you've spent that time and effort building your wealth today. I want you to be a financially smart person. Now what that means is I don't want you to have to overpay for something if you don't have to, but I also want you to not have to struggle and stress about the cost of things if something gets more expensive. If you need a new car and you want to buy it and now the prices of cars are higher, I don't want you to be that person that's sitting there trying to figure out how you're going to be able to afford it. Instead, I want you to be wealthy. That way you can pay the higher price if you need to. What I say is pay the price today. That way you can pay any price in the future. That means anytime you get paid, you're going to use a portion of your paycheck to invest into yourself. That way you have your money working for you. That way you can grow your income. That way you have more money. That way you can afford life without worrying about the price. Just follow the 25% rule. Anytime you make $1, take a quarter of that and put that money to work. Maybe you save a little bit of it and take the rest, invest it. Invest it into stocks. That way now when the price of things go up, you benefit, because now the value of your stocks are probably going to go up too, because now instead of you just buying the car, you own a piece of the car company that's getting these higher revenues. Or invest your money into cash flow producing real estate. Now you own an asset that's paying you every single month. Or invest your money into owning a business. Now you own something like a franchise. You own a business that's producing you money month after month after month. You need to have these multiple streams of income, and this is more important now than ever, because you cannot just rely on your job to become wealthy. You need to earn this money from your job. You got to go to work, get that active income, but then you want to take this money and you want to put it to work. You want to invest this money. That way you have more money coming in, because you cannot just rely on your salary to take care of you anymore. You need to take some of this money and you got to put it to work. Anytime you make $1, put a quarter of it to work. But going back to the car market, right now we're facing a perfect storm, because right now we have very low supply and a whole lot of demand. We have a lot of demand because of all the free money that was printed. This money was injected into the economy, so people have cash that they want to spend. On the supply side of things, we have a lot of supply chain issues. We have the chip shortage. We have everybody jumping to used cars. And so you have this limited inventory of cars available for sale. And then you have this dollar being weakened thanks to all the money printing. And you have people who have cash in their pocket that want to spend it. And these two things together have been pushing car prices up through the roof. The car roof. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, here's the video on things you should not do when you get paid that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, download our free guide on how to start generating passive income. And as always, keep hustling. I want to read you this tweet by a professor from the OSU Entrepreneurship School who says, "What causes poverty? Nothing. It is the original state, the default and starting point. The real question is, what causes prosperity?" That's an interesting take on things.